Speaking of not getting caught, speaking of niggas with a lot to lose, Shannon Sharpe. I mean, where do we start? I guess we start with who Shannon Sharpe is. Shannon is a NFL Hall of Famer and a broadcast, podcaster, talking head in sports. And he has blown up in the last couple of years, specifically because of his podcast. I think his biggest one was Shannon Sharpe and Cat Williams.
Get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan
There
Majors.
you go. Come on, Cat.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends.
So this post has a lot of the images you kind of need to understand. So Shannon Sharpe is a big deal in sports media, a big deal in black media. He is, like I said, NFL Hall of Famer, 3-time Super Bowl champion, big deal in general media. And earlier this week, he was exposed. Tony Busby, I think, presented that he was being sued for $50 million by a young woman who was now maybe 21. Shannon Sharpe is 56, so he met this young girl when she was, as JMD is putting it, 19 years old, and he was 54. Shannon's appeal is that Shannon comes off like your black uncle, right? He was called Uncle Shannon. And a lot of us have an Uncle Shannon in our lives. A black uncle who's still really cool. He's still really living life. He's got the resource to live life on his own terms. He still provides that uncle energy. Club Shay Shay in only a couple of years has almost 4 million subscribers. Now, not all of his videos have like a trillion views, but he's doing really good for a podcast channel. He's interviewing all these black comedians, these, black public figures. Like if you're looking at this set of, this is not Gen Z black interests. Is that Bobby Brown? This is very much black millennial core. Let me put out the victim story first, because I do want to be clear, we do believe victims here, and I'm about to crack on Shannon Sharpe and get really apart from the actual problem of her victimization, but I want to give it some time real quick. So Shannon Sharpe met a 19-year-old girl as a multi-millionaire, 50-something-year-old powerful public figure. He met a 19-year-old girl at a gym and pursued her intimately and sexually. They started a multi-year sexual relationship through which the girl alleges that he was mentally, emotionally, and physically abusive. She alleges that on 2 separate occasions, she was sexually assaulted at the end of their relationship, but she also alleges that he at times filmed sexual interactions that they had without her consent. Paramount Level points out that part of their problem in their relationship eventually was he got caught on live in another sexual encounter on Instagram Live. Now, this was not, you did not see him in the act, but the audio was very clear. And no, that was not her. Michelle is not this young girl. And that's actually what the problem is that Michelle, the girl thought that they were in an exclusive relationship, and then the whole world heard him having sex with Michelle. Relationship with the girl that, according to the girl, very toxic, very problematic, includes situations of sexual assault, filed a civil lawsuit that they had been in litigation for. So one thing that came out was that they were already in litigation, and she did not accept according to, and this is from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, according to Shannon Sharpe's people, they offered her a $10 million settlement, which she rejected. So, settling is not an admission of guilt, but it ain't, it ain't the opposite either. Supposedly, he was getting ready to sign a $100 million deal for his podcast. That was Monday morning. By Monday afternoon, when this started popping off, Shannon released some text messages from the girl. I'll get to that, but let's hear Shannon's official statement. And let me break down why I don't fuck with this statement at all.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about, and I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys. Thanks.
And I've said this before, so let me just repeat this. The concept of believe victims does not mean that every victim is telling the truth. A lot of people like to distort that. Originator of the Me Too movement herself came out and made that distinction. Let me find that real quick.
As a Black woman, I would never, in America, I would never say believe all women. It's ridiculous. What we were saying in the beginning is believe survivors. The reason why we say believe survivors, and what that means is start from the premise that survivors are telling the truth. Because for years, when survivors came forward, we were not believed. And if you start with the premise that survivors are telling the truth, that means that you will investigate thoroughly, right? And you will start and you will give them the space that you give a person that you believe, right? It doesn't even mean diminish the other person and demonize the other person. It means take me seriously. Believe me and take me seriously. That's what survivors are looking for when they say believe me.
Tarana Burke really gives me the appropriate balanced starting point here. So we believe victims, we believe survivors in that we want to take this accusation seriously. We want people to not create a dog pile against her. We want people to not reflexively email FD signifier saying you need to come out and support Shannon Sharpe. Let me find this email real quick. In fact, I'm about to put you on blast. Look at this block of text a motherfucker sent me the day of. Look at this shit spiraling with videos. You feel me? It is weirdo behavior. Maybe if it was Shannon's team, that would make me feel less embarrassed for dude, but still, no. So that's the opposite of believe survivors. To jump to the conclusion that we have to immediately denigrate the alleged victim. On the other hand, you cannot ignore the racial component to this. I guess let me get to the text first. So immediately, when is this? This gotta be the night of. So this is all happening on April 21st, as you can see. As soon as this stuff comes out about Shannon responds by releasing a statement and showing text messages between him and this young lady. And understand, as they're saying in the chat, these text messages are nasty work. You know what, y'all not gonna catch me saying this shit out loud in public. Y'all not gonna catch you saying this shit out loud in public. He releases these texts, and the point of these texts are to get you to consider whether or not this is a setup. Michael Jordan, for the people too young to know that Jordan just automatically means Jordan. If I just say Jordan, do y'all not understand I'm immediately talking about Michael Jordan? Are there any other important Jordans in the world? If you say Jordan as a singular entity, you're talking about Michael Jordan. Oh, Lord. People like Jordan and Shannon Sharpe, uncles like Jordan and Shannon Sharpe, they get their money, they divorce their black wife they've been with for 30 years, they find them a young snow bunny to trick off on. Shannon Sharpe just also is, can I say coon on Twitch? I can? Okay. I just can't say the other C word. So Shannon Sharpe is very coon coded. I don't know if he's a true raccoon, but I know one when I see one. I know the FD is anti-race mix and people are gonna enjoy clipping this. Let's just keep it a buck. The types of black men that tend to become winter soldiers tend to be very coon coded too. Look at this man right now. Look look at this man. This is coon coded. Not necessarily, because sometimes niggas just be flying old. They be wanting to do their own thing. But it's a little coon coded. This is the image of, I'm black, but I'm not black like y'all. And multiple people have said something to Shannon about his snow bunny predilections. You feel me? Strategically black. That's a good one. Knowing that he's coon coded, knowing that he's a little bit of a dumb jock, knowing that he's got snow bunny predilections, the idea that he be into race play, not a reach. And it's not a reach that a young white woman messing with a dude like Shannon Sharpe, 6'3", 250, probably still in excellent shape for a man his age. That's a match made in heaven. But in The Man Not, in Tommy Curry's The Man Not, he talks about Eldridge Cleaver's Soul on Ice, and the essay in it, The Allegory of the Black Eunuchs. And the short version of what I'm trying to get at here is, in The Allegory of the Black Eunuchs, Eldridge Cleaver, a Winter Soldier himself to the extreme degree, and I don't want to get into it, because if you know, you know. Just Google it, but trigger warning before you Google Eldridge Cleaver and white women. He talks about how he talks to this idea of black men seeing their access to white women as a connection to freedom, a rejection of the stain of blackness. And I think that's very true. I think that's very astute. You don't have to be around, if you're around 10 black men with white women, 5 of them niggas gonna give you a certain vibe that they think that their relationship with their white woman somehow makes them better as a black person, better as a human. It's just a reality of the situation. Maybe it's 3 out of 10, if I'm gonna be nice.
This is a shakedown. I'm gonna be open, transparent, and defend myself.
All right, so this is shakedown is a choice, but that's not even like, under the circumstances, if he really thought this is a shakedown, if he really thinks it's a shakedown, I'm gonna let that one slide. I'm gonna let that one slide, right? Put the antenna up and there's elements to it, I'm gonna let it slide. But then certain things he gets into in a second.
Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty. Tony
Busby targets black men. We know that Tony Busby, in terms of like public knowledge, I'm sure Tony Busby has a couple of, people that he's gotten in court, but in terms of public knowledge, we know Tony Busby has been the lead attorney in taking on 2 black men, Jay-Z and Deshaun Watson. Let's be clear, Deshaun Watson's ass was guilty. Deshaun Watson had 26 different women come forward to accuse him of sexual misconduct in the exact same way. Shout out to Browns fans. I feel for you. Maybe y'all get, maybe you trading up for Shedeur Sanders in the second round. So Tony Busby didn't go after Deshaun Watson on some conspiracy shakedown shit. Deshaun Watson was showing bad dick discipline and being a weirdo, and he got caught up and he got what he deserved. W's in the chat for Tony Busby for Deshaun Watson. W's in the chat for Tony Busby on Deshaun Watson. Did I enjoy viewing that? Am I happy that a black man, a black athlete, assaulted 26 women allegedly and lost his career for it? I'm not happy about that. Am I happy that some form of justice occurred? Yes. Am I mad at Tony Busby for doing his job for those women? No. And he mentions Jay-Z, Uncle Truth, with some good solid hotel conspiracy theory energy. That's why I fucks with Uncle Truth. Jay-Z's been an asset of the state since he stabbed that dude back in 2002. And I'm gonna leave it at that. But my point is, if you want to use Jay-Z and say Busby goes at the black man, I don't know if I agree with you, but you're at least speaking knowledge on some level. He mentions Jay-Z and not Deshaun Watson for a reason, because he's trying to get him in the same light as Jay-Z.
The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans.
That's dirty work. That's dirty work. Did y'all catch that the first time that he did that? Not doxing per se. Not doxing. It's not the doxing. It's not the doxing. The real damage was pointing out that she was an OnlyFans model. And he's not dumb to know how that would play in the public eye. All the other shit is debatable. Oh, Tony Busby, maybe he went after Jay-Z unfairly, but he definitely went after Deshaun Watson legitimately. Black men and black powerful men as targets for scrutiny, especially for their sexuality, all that stuff. You can argue that. I wouldn't agree with you, but you can argue that. Chad knows sex workers in the public eye, sex workers cannot be victims. He knows that. That was not an accident to point out, because that's completely irrelevant. And now, thank you, MCGF 365, every image of her is her OnlyFans imagery. This is all we've seen of her.
Want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys. Thanks.
So that's the gist of his response. Since then, we've gotten more text messages, more details, more phone calls. So trigger warning for this, because he gets violent in this discussion. But I want to talk about this.
So I feel like
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing, Gabby. You want to be a dick to me now, so.
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna fucking choke the shit out of you when I see you.
We don't gotta go much farther than that, because I need y'all to understand that choking is a uniquely significant line in terms of abuse. There's a lot of ways to abuse people emotionally, financially, sexually, etc. But when it comes to violence, choking is known to be a significant inflection point, because it takes a lot to choke a motherfucker. It's like you're 7 times more likely to be killed by a partner by a partner that has choked you. It's just, I don't know why. I ain't never choked nobody. Is that an elaborate setup? Is that an AI? Whatever, you want to throw some stuff out there, some serious stuff? Possibly. I don't know enough about it. But if it's not, this is going to get ugly, and there are probably other victims out there. It's also been implied by the victim that Shannon tried to get her to sign an NDA. But you don't just start choking women. Like, that's not a thing you do all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? I hate that this girl was in that situation to begin with. I hate that Shannon Sharpe was dating a 19-year-old at 54. This is about us to an extent, but this ain't about us. This is about Shannon.